Welcome back. So strap up because it promises to be a roller coaster, at least at the start. Asian markets have been reeling under pressure thanks to the losses we've seen, on Wall Street. It's all about the jobs report. The implied open is suggesting a 200-point gap down. Okay, but there are lots of earnings, lots of individual stock-specific action that we need to go over as well. So let's get down to the micros now. Our team is standing by with the CNBC-TV18 list of top stocks to watch. Guys, morning and happy Monday to all of you. Let's start with some of the major earnings that we got over the weekend. Mangalam, how does D-Mart look?
The most important things in D-Mart's numbers: one, there has been a pickup in revenue growth, but margins have compressed, and there has been a surprising announcement in the leadership change as well. Now, here's the catch. The revenue growth of almost 18%, the street had factored that in. The stock was up 10% post the third quarter update that came by last week as well. So now that leaves us with two disappointing facts. One, that the margins have compressed by almost 60 basis points, led lower by increased intensity in discounting in the FMCG category, increased operating expenses on account of store expansion, and general merchandise and apparel, which is close to around 23% of sales, hasn't seen any meaningful recovery or improvement out there. And the second negative, which was a surprise, is that the leader, Neville Naruna, will step down as MD and CEO from February 1, 2026. His current term ends on January 31st, 2026, and he has chosen not to, renew that. And the company has announced Anshul Asawa as the CEO designate. Anshul, who's currently the country head of Unilever Thailand, has been with Unilever for the last 30 years. But this transition of management change from what earlier was known as a rockstar CEO in the retail chain may come across as a negative surprise. This uncertainty would lead the stock lower today in today's trading session, largely on account of margin compression and the management change that has come by.
All right, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. So Avenue Supermarts, pulls back and gives up all that it put on post the Q3 operational update that we saw. Well, let's hop across to Vinny. She's bringing some good news on Biocon. Vinny, take it away.
Absolutely. A strong positive news that's come in for Biocon. Now, Biocon's Malaysia insulin facility, which everyone was waiting out for, they finally received the US FDA's voluntary action indicated. So positive news there. And this is the Johor, Malaysia facility. This was inspected somewhere in September 2024. That time they'd received an OAI that came in for the facility previously. So that was a concern that was there. Now, this clearance paves a lot of positive paths for the Biocon's facility and Biocon Biologics business specifically. Now, Biocon's regulatory hurdles specifically are behind them, whether you look at the Bangalore facility or the Malaysia facility. We'll see a potential launch coming in for the generic Aspart, which is an important biosimilar for the company. Launch will be in the near term anytime soon. And there are two launches that are already planned during this year, which are the important ones that they're keeping an eye out on. Now, what analysts are saying that obviously with this launch, the US Aspart sales are expected somewhere between $25 million to $50 million in FY26 and FY27, and it's a $700 million market. So surely keeping an eye out on this one. Green expected for Biocon.
All right, Vinny, thank you very much for that. So it's Biocon in focus. Just Dial is the next one we're going to focus on. Reema is here with details. Reema, morning.
Hi, good morning. So revenue growth for Just Dial has slowed a bit. So revenue growth stands at 0.8% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. On a year-on-year basis, revenue growth is at 8.4%. And this is the second consecutive quarter of a high single-digit kind of revenue growth. Prior to that, it was a lot higher. That said, margins have expanded pretty well for the company at 30.1%. This is the highest that we've seen in the last couple of quarters. It compares with 28.8% in the prior quarter. And if I compare it to a year ago, it was 22.8%. So the margin expansion has been very solid. So profits on a year-on-year basis are higher, but on a quarter-on-quarter basis, they're still lower on account of a lower other income. And this is a company which is generating a lot of cash. So cash in the books is close to about 5,000 crore rupees. So slower revenue growth compared to the prior quarters, but a very strong inch up in margins.
Okay, all right, Reema, got it. Thank you. By the way, our ticker was flashing some very interesting news for Indicon Bank just a while back. It seems that the latest shareholding shows that the foreign ownership headroom has increased, which is why MSCI could be almost doubling its weight on the stocks. That means good news in terms of the existing flows. Passive flows will come in. Larger question is, of course, whether the funds, emerging market funds, are getting more money or not. But that's everybody's problem, not just Indicon Bank's. For the time being, because of the existing changes, there would be inflows coming through. I think 225 million is the estimate on the street. So watch out for this one. But anyway, some more names. Let's go to Hormaz now, who's watching out for Waaree Energies and NLC. Morning, Hormaz.
Morning, Surabhi. And one of the outperformers, the recent listings, is Waaree Energies. They have made a big announcement over the weekend where they are going to sign up a share purchase agreement with NL Green Power Development, and they'll be acquiring 100% stake in the India business of NL Renewables for 792 crore rupees. Now, NL is one of Europe's largest renewable energy companies, and they own both solar and wind projects in India, which has existing capacity and capacity that is under development. So, positive developments coming in for Waaree Energies. And NLC India as well, they have also signed a 51-49 joint venture with the Assam Power Distribution Company, where they'll be developing solar power projects in the state of Assam, and 51% will be owned by NLC India, while the rest will be owned by the Assam State Discom. So positive developments for NLC India as well. Expect both the stocks to open in the green today.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Hormaz. Well, let's wind this down with Vinny, who's here to tell us about some more stocks that are on the news. Vinny?
Good morning. So I'm going to talk about some of the real estate names. Now, Sunteck Realty has come out with its Q3 business update. Pre-sales, strong pre-sales, right? 40% growth that we're seeing there, 635 crores. But there's a bit of a decline that's come in on the collection front, down 23% on a year-on-year basis. So maybe the stock could open up in the green and then move towards the muted side. We have Inox, that's also going to be in Equinox, I beg your pardon. Equinox is going to be in focus. They've come out with their Q3 FY25 numbers. Now, strong set of numbers coming in. Profits coming in at around 22 crores versus the loss last year of 38 crores. Revenue seeing a very strong growth, almost more than doubling, tripling in terms of the revenue move that we're seeing. EBITDA also, it's a EBITDA profit this time versus a loss last year. So good set of numbers. Do not forget in terms of recent announcements where the NCLAT had approved the scheme of amalgamation for Equinox India Developments as well as Embassy Group. So keeping a close eye on Equinox, expecting green today as well. Oberoi Realty is the last one. The company has been approved and appointed as the developer for a 10,300 square meter of land that's in Bandra, and the company is expected to be entitled for the free sales of the component of around 3.2 lakh square feet. So positive for that one as well.
All right. Very thank you again for that. Well, PCBL third quarter review. Upasana is standing by with that. Upasana, morning.
Good morning. Well, overall, it's been a decent quarter for the company when we look at the numbers on a YoY basis. Revenue stood at 2,010 crore with an uptick of 21% on a YoY basis. Now, this revenue growth was mainly led by company's key segment, that is carbon black, which forms nearly about 80% of the company's overall sales mix. Now, other segments like power and chemicals also showed growth potential, and chemicals being a new revenue stream this year, mind you. Now, on EBITDA margin front, it stood at 15.9% with a downtick of 90 basis points on a YoY basis. And company's PAT stood at 93 crore with a downtick of 37%. Now, this downtick was mainly led by 5x surge in company's finance cost, and company's depreciation also doubled this quarter, leading to such a impacting PAT growth. Now, company says that company is expecting a significant growth in the international sales volume to European markets, and it has also highlighted that the demand for specialty products continues to remain resilient. So overall, it's been a decent quarter for PCBL.
All right, got it. So we're going to keep this one on the radar as well. Upasana, thank you very much for that. Let's quickly recap the stocks to watch today. In fact, actually, before we we do that, let's head across to Manisha. Oil is the major headline. Apart from the US non-farm payrolls report, the market's now dealing with almost a 5% increase in oil prices since we shut trade here in India at 3:30 on Friday. Manisha, waking up to news of Russia sanctions. What's going on?
Oh, well, absolutely. So we've seen 3 weeks of constant gains for the crude oil prices. This is the 4th one, and 2025 has started on a very, very positive note. As you said, we've seen strong gains. Last week was 6% of gain for the crude oil prices, and Asia is up almost 2% right now. So very, very strong going here. Yes, you spoke about U.S. sanctions on Russia, and that really is a major reason. So while Russia has seen sanctions on various other sectors, this is the first time that we are seeing such stringent and strong ones come in on its oil and gas sector. So the U.S. Department of Treasury has imposed sanctions on Russian oil producers, on more than 200 entities and individuals, on 183 vessels that are shipping Russian oil. There are sanctions also now on Russian insurance companies, and this could have a wider U.S. sanctions impact on China and India, because much of the Russian exports were happening within Asia. The other point is that UK has joined US in targeting Russian energy sector. So this is still a developing thing. You could see more countries joining in. And how stringent is this? At this point in time, there's a statement from Gazprom saying that this is unjustified, illegitimate, and they will continue to operate. So clearly not taking sanctions as they come. So this is still high, and the premium in the crude oil prices perhaps could even gain further going forward.
Oof, the Biden administration is definitely going out with a bang, no, Manisha? Because we thought it would be quiet and things will start only after the 20th of January. No, never a dull moment. Headlines are still coming in. Thank you so much. We'll get more perspective on this with you through the course of the day. Okay, so oil also is the big headline. Let's quickly now recap our list of total top stocks to watch. The ones that have positive news flow are Biocon, Just Dial, Sunteck Realty, Equinox India, Oberoi Realty, Waaree Energies, which has acquired a company, NLC India, PCBL, and ONGC, thanks to the spot in oil prices. Avenue Supermarts, because of the numbers being a mixed bag, could be the one in the red. Okay, quick break right now. We'll come back on the other side and connect with Prakash Diwan, discuss fundamentals around some of these stocks.